Okay, guys, we'll get started. Thank you so much. I've got a great bunch of questions to get through today, so I will just start right away. Okay, the first question, which type of light is nurturing rather than inducing hormesis? So I guess it's worth explaining what hormesis is. So hormesis or hormetic stressor is generally something that we do to our bodies, whether consciously or unconsciously, that creates a kind of slightly stressful environment inside the cells or inside the body. So an example of hormetic stressors is, of course, red light therapy is a hormetic stressor, ice baths, hormetic stressors, fasting, lifting weights, saunas, anything that temporarily, puts your body under pressure, stresses your body out. And the whole point of these hormetic stresses is that your body will then adapt and kind of grow back stronger and grow back more resilient. So this lady is asking about hormetics. Well, she's asking if there's some nurturing light, because she's referring to the kind of stressful effects of red light therapy on the cells of the body. And she is correct, but I think she's worrying about something that doesn't need to be worried about, because the inflammation or the hormetic stress that is caused by the red light therapy is so small and so minute. All it really does is stress the cells very temporarily, and that causes the cells to then release their own natural anti-inflammatories, which circulate around the body and contribute to reducing inflammation. In her case, she's talking about her skin, but it can, of course, reduce inflammation anywhere on the body. So to answer her question, she goes on to say, I did not dare expose my inflamed skin following tooth surgery, as I was not sure if it was too much hormesis on the body or not. Absolutely not. What I do recommend after a surgery or an operation like this is to wait maybe 2 or 3 days, because the body's natural inflammation is a good thing. So wait 2 or 3 days, let the body work its magic with its own inflammation, and then start to treat yourself with the red light therapy. It's not too much at all. In this context of this lady, she's got inflamed skin following a tooth surgery, so I assume somewhere around her mouth. I'm not sure what device she has, but she can use something like the Target Light 2 and position it, I'd say, between 5 and 15 centimeters away from the skin, depending on her skin tone and all that. And she can do that treatment for 5 minutes per area. It's absolutely perfect. This is an interesting one. I am not sweating, hardly ever. Does the red light therapy still work for me, even if I have circulation issues? Example, cold feet and hands. Yes, absolutely. It's even better for your... Yes, it is absolutely perfect, especially if you have circulation issues like that, because the red light therapy will actually increase your circulation and may help you feel a little bit better, especially with the cold feet and the cold hands. When you use red light therapy on your body, one of the biochemical reactions that is happening inside the cells or inside the energy transport system is that there is a release of nitric oxide from the energy transport chain, where when that nitric oxide is released, it goes into the blood. That actually acts as a vasodilator, meaning that your veins will actually kind of increase in diameter, which will help blood to flow through it. And that is absolutely perfect for circulation. So it's fantastic to use for you. The question of where do you use it? I suppose in this context, use it on your cold hands and your cold feet. That'll be the best place to start. Another great question. How is best to prime the panels so that we get the maximum benefit from it? Example, warm bath first, followed by 20 minutes of red and infrared light, or red light therapy first, followed by sauna. So My current opinion on this is that it's not actually a good idea to try and combine too many things together in one go. Okay, so this person is asking about should she have a warm bath first, followed by her red light therapy? So far, it's not a good idea to heat your body up too much before doing red light therapy. It does affect the way the light penetrates your skin and how it moves through the water, around your cells underneath your skin. I also wouldn't do red light therapy and then a sauna. I know that it is trending right now amongst the health conscious, the wellness warriors out there. Everybody wants to do their ice bath, then their sauna, then their red light therapy, then their fasting, and then go and lift weights and then run a marathon. It's just too much. Don't forget, all these things are stressful on the body. Okay, now they are very low stress, you could argue, unless you're in a very hot sauna or a very cold ice bath, I suppose. They are a kind of stress, and it's not good to do all these stressful things all the time, every day together. Okay, it's when it comes to these biohacks or these wellness practices, less is more. So if you're the kind of person that's doing saunas, cold therapy, fasting, red light therapy, you're doing all of that stuff, which is fantastic. I do not recommend doing them all at once every day. So maybe do a sauna on Monday and then just have a normal day. Do an ice bath on Tuesday, then have a normal day. Do your red light therapy on Wednesday and have a normal day. The other option is to leave some time between the different treatments that you're doing. So do a sauna in the morning and red light therapy in the evening. Do an ice bath in the morning, red light therapy in the evening. Of course, there is the tradition of doing saunas and ice baths right after each other. That's a different story. But I hope that makes sense. How often and how long do you use the red light to improve dry eyes and eyesight? This is a fantastic question. We get this question every week. It's very important. And so I will discuss the eye health protocol right now. So with red light therapy, when it comes to eyes, the best time to use it that we know of so far is in the morning, roughly between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. That is because our eyes and our brain have actually evolved to carry out certain energetic processes in the eyes between that time of the day. For whatever reason, our eyes seem more receptive to absorbing red and infrared light in the morning. Okay, so that's the first thing. Try and do it between 8 and 9 a.m. in the morning. The second thing, which is probably the most important thing when it comes to red light therapy and eyes, is how far do you hold the light from your face, okay? There's an important concept in red light therapy, and that is distance. No matter what treatments we're talking about today, the most important thing which we will discuss is the distance, okay? And what do I mean by that? If you're treating a painful hand or a painful wrist, you can be much, much closer to the device, okay? So in certain situations, actually what I do when it comes to my own physical pain is I just rest the device directly on my hand. I just balance the light on my hand and I get a red light therapy treatment for painful hands in that way. But when it comes to eye health, you need a much, much gentler treatment. So the rule of thumb when you're using our products, no matter which ones they are, is to keep the light 65 centimeters away from your face, okay? That's quite far. That's arm's length away. And the reason we keep it arm's length away is because you only need a very gentle treatment on your eyes, okay? So that's number two. The distance is 65 centimeters away from your face. Number three is you can keep your eyes open or closed, and you just look in the general direction of the light. You don't have to stare directly into it. You just look in a direction. You can kind of gaze above the light, below the light, to the left and to the right. As long as you get light in your eyes at all different angles, that's the best thing to do. So I hope that answers the question about eyes. I'm sure we'll get a lot more. Okay, Jay is asking, Would this light help with shoulder pain? I broke my collarbone last year. In the past couple of weeks, it has been aching and painful. Jay, absolutely. That is actually one of the most beneficial effects of red light therapy, and that is pain relief. I use it in myself all the time. I lift a lot of weights. I'm quite clumsy. I do jujitsu. I've constantly got aches and pains everywhere. Red light therapy is my absolute go-to for fast recovery from injuries and aches and pains. When it comes to pain, again, you need to be much, much closer to the light. So anywhere from, like 1 centimeter is probably the max you want to do, all the way to touching. You can touch directly, whether it's your shoulder, your collarbone area, knees, hips, back, even the neck at the back, even the head at the top. You can do that. You can let the light touch your skin. Absolutely perfect. And 5 minutes per session, once or twice a day, is all you're going to need for that pain. And I'm very confident that you will see a nice increase or a decrease in the amount of pain you're feeling in your shoulder there. Okay, that's all the questions on Instagram. Let's get back to our Zoom folks. So this lady has got quite a bizarre one. Well, I've never heard of this, I should say. Parasites in the eyelashes. What distance should the light be from the face? Well, I've never read anything about red light therapy helping to cure parasites in the eyelashes. So unfortunately, I don't know much about that. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know much about that. That's quite an interesting one. The distance from the face, again, whether you're doing, eyes or skin, it's between, if you're doing eyes specifically, it's got to be around 40 to 65 centimeters. And if you're doing skin on the face, it depends on your skin tone, really, but 30 to 65 centimeters as well, although I'm not sure what effect it would have on those parasites. I'm sorry about that. Okay, Julia, how long and what distance should I apply red light if combining with green tea serum to support skin aging? 30 to 65 centimeters is perfect. It depends on your skin tone, so there is a little bit of experimentation. I would start on the most gentle treatment first, and the most gentle treatment is the one that is furthest away from your body. Because as the light travels through space and comes towards you, it gets weaker and weaker and weaker. And so the weakest option would be 65 centimeters. Do that for a week or two, see how you feel, and then you can reduce that distance slowly over time. And the closest I would ever get to the face is about 30 centimeters, because the light is very, very powerful, and you don't need a lot of energy or light energy on your face. Which glasses would you recommend for night driving in the case of severe light sensitivity to oncoming headlights? Absolutely, these ones are the best. You want a yellow lens. We do, of course, offer the yellow and the red lenses, but the red lenses are not recommended for driving because they literally cut out all types of blue and green light, and everything will appear red, and that is not safe to drive. With the yellow ones, it only slightly changes the light environment, but it can make a big difference with the bright lights, the oncoming headlights. So I would definitely recommend some yellow lenses. Are there any of your glasses that would help me with migraines that are also triggered by light sensitivity? Yes. Same thing, the yellow ones. You can use the yellow ones all day. If you're on the computer, if you're working, you're in artificially lit environments. The yellow ones are the best for the day because they obviously allow you to see still almost perfectly. Just the color of the environment changes slightly. And the red ones are perfect for you after dark. So we only recommend using the red lights after dark, the red glasses, sorry, after dark, because it cuts out all the blue and green light and your entire environment becomes red, but it is very relaxing. Liz is asking, my concern is about timing and distances, nothing specific. So when it comes to distance and time with red light therapy, The way we have calculated it is it's kind of complicated, but you have to find the power of the light, and then the amount of energy that is hitting the body per minute, and then divide that by the distance. So it's kind of complicated. But when it comes to our products, the calculations are usually around 5 minutes is all you ever need for your red light therapy treatment per area. Okay, so whether you're doing the face, it's 5 minutes. If you're doing a painful wrist, it's 5 minutes. But you could do the top of the wrist and the back of the wrist, for example, 5 minutes each time. If you've got a painful knee, you can do 5 minutes on each angle of the knee. But that 5 minutes is really the golden rule. It's not a super strict rule. 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. It's all going to give you good benefits, and it varies between person to person. So that's why we say 5 is a nice round number, but depends on your skin tone, depends on your age, depends on your health, depends on your hydration. There's a lot of things involved. So anywhere from 3 to 8 or 10 minutes, somewhere in that sweet spot, is perfect. And when it comes to distances, again, a useful way to think of it is that the deeper into your body you want to go, so for example, knee pain or joint pain or muscle pain, which is pretty much as deep as it gets into your body, the closer your light needs to be. And if you missed it earlier, when I'm doing pain or muscle treatments, I just go right up to it. Especially if I'm using this Target Light 2, it's just a much, much easier way to use it. I've had some painful fingers and painful wrists recently from jiu-jitsu, and I literally just rest the light like that on my hand while I'm sitting at the table. I can read a book, I can even eat with one hand, I can drink my coffee, and the light just balances on my hand. Absolutely perfect. When it comes to skin and eyes, you need a much more gentle treatment. So then you start moving away from the device, and that's when you get to the 30 to 65 centimeter range. How does red light therapy help arthritis, and what light and how long? Okay, this is a great question. So red light therapy helps arthritis very, very well. Okay, and it does this in a number of ways. There's a big pain relief aspect to red light therapy. Okay, so when you expose the cells of your body to this red and infrared light, it causes a cellular response, and 3 very important things happen. Number 1 is you get an increase in cellular energy, and when you have an increase in cellular energy, the cells of your body, the tissue of your body, has more energy to work with, and they can heal and recover faster. Okay. The second big thing that happens is that there's a release of natural anti-inflammatories into the bloodstream. Okay, and of course, in the context of arthritis, these natural anti-inflammatories can be very, very helpful in reducing the sensation of the pain, reducing the sensation of the stiffness and the achiness in the fingers or the joints. And the third very important thing is it increases blood flow. And that, of course, can be very, very helpful for arthritis as well. And so those 3 factors is what red light therapy does to the human body. And that is also how it can help relieve the pain and the stiffness associated with arthritis. Okay. Then the person goes on, what light and how long. So I'm not sure if they're referring to which model of light. My first recommendation is always the Target Light 2, because it's just the easiest to use. It's handheld. You can get it onto almost any part of your body without any struggles. The other option for pain actually is what we call the Pain Go pad, which many of you will be familiar with. It's just a flexible pad, and of course you can see if you were to wrap it around a painful hand, it goes like that. There's a Velcro strap, and there you go. I could cover my whole hand, my whole wrist. I could slide it up my arm if I had pain all over. Absolutely perfect. This is the Pain Go pad. And if you do have very widespread pain or widespread arthritis, you then can start discussing whether you should get a larger panel. The panels, of course, will save you a lot of time, and they will treat a much larger area of your body, which will infer potentially much faster benefits and much faster, pain relieving results. I hope that helps. Kate would like to know more about how to get the best out of her half stack and its capabilities. It's a very, very broad question because, I guess it depends what Kate is trying to achieve. But when you use red light therapy, you get all the benefits every time you use it. So what I mean by that is you can't really take red light therapy and say, oh, I'm going to only get a skin treatment today. That's not how it works. When you shine this light onto your body, those cellular processes are kicked into action, and you will get all the benefits every time you use it. So even if you're using red light therapy for skin benefits or for sleep benefits or for pain benefits or for hormonal stuff or mood enhancement or general energy, you get all the benefits all the time. Okay, so if I had a half stack like Kate does, I would probably focus on the face for starters, because that's very good for the skin and the eyes, and that's really good for mood and energy, especially during the winter months. So I would sit 40 centimeters away from the light and target my face, the top part of my body there. Then I would move much closer to the light, and I would target everything from my chin down. Okay, so the half stack will get you from your chin down to your groin area, maybe a bit lower depending on your height. And I would do that much, much closer up, so I can get all that good benefits around the organs and the bones and the heart and the lungs, everything inside the body. And if it was me, I would also then move the light down to my legs and perhaps do my knees or my hips and my lower back. That's how I would get the best out of my device. That's how I do get the best out of it. If Kate wants to have a one-on-one call, that's fine. We can discuss exactly her needs as well. Oh, then she goes on in her next question. I have a few areas that I would like to know more about in terms of skin, sleep, hormone balance, muscle recovery, distance from the box, timings, etc. Okay, so I've just kind of mentioned that in the previous question, Kate. I hope you caught it. From the face, 40 centimeters from the face, 5 minutes, then much closer over all the organs and all the muscles and the bones for another 5 minutes per area. That's going to be absolutely. Lindsay is saying, I hold mine quite close to the face. Will this cause any damage? Look, it's in that sense, it's kind of quite a new science, because everybody's so different. I've had a tiny amount of people that they use red light therapy on their face or on their body, and they get a rash. Very, very unusual, very, very rare, but it does happen. So without knowing, anything about Lindsay, her skin tone, her health background, anything else, it's quite difficult to say. I would always say start further away. If you've got quite a dark skin tone, you might need, slightly less treatment, because the darker skins will absorb a lot more light. If you've got, a lot of skin damage, you might need a slightly longer treatment. So it varies, but I would just err on the side of caution and keep further away. Stick to that 40 centimeters and do that for a couple of weeks. And if you're not happy with what you're seeing, then you can go a little bit closer, or you can go a little bit further away. Give that a try. Here's a question. I've had 2 of these questions today. So Linda asks, and also looks like Doris, sometimes my red light appears as if yellow in color. Is this okay? Yes, it's absolutely normal and quite common. It's not the light changing color, believe it or not. It's actually your eyes adjusting to the huge amount of red light that is going into your eyes. So your brain is very clever. If you get so much red light, which is, kind of not that normal really, to get that much red light in your face and in your eyes, your brain will try to adjust the color perception that it's receiving, and it'll do that by balancing out and trying to make things look more normal. And what can happen is that, your light itself can start to look a little bit orange or even yellow. And then when you switch it off, everything around you looks a little bit green, and it'd be quite worrying the first time you do it. But again, as soon as that red light goes off, within, for me, it only takes a few seconds. Your eyes will readjust and all the colors will go back to normal. Okay. My Pawsome Pets Adventures. I have fibromyalgia, degenerative disc disease, and herniated discs. Will this help, and will you ever get a large body mat? Yes, actually, we are actually working on a large body mat for exactly these kind of conditions. I've unfortunate enough to have a lot of clients that have fibromyalgia, and they get fantastic results with red light therapy. It can really be life-changing for so many people. I've had people write emails to me that will almost bring you to tears. When it comes to fibromyalgia and the pain and the fatigue and the energy, red light therapy is absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend people to give it a try. Same with the degenerative disc disease and the herniated discs. It won't necessarily change the physical manifestation of what's going on there, but it'll give you pain relief. It'll give you more blood flow in the area, which could help you heal faster. So everything you're suffering with there, My Pawsome Pets Adventures, absolutely give it a try. We've got testimonials on our website. We've got them on Trustpilot, I believe. For fibromyalgia, absolute game changer. Body man, yeah. Oh, yes. So if you're still there, My Pawsome Pets, please send me a DM on this Red Light Rising page, and just put your hand up and say you're interested in a large body mat, and I will tell you a little bit more about it. Yes, we do ship our products to Spain, of course. If I work all day in an office without natural light, is it okay to have the red light panel open all day in the office? Thank you. No, it's not really necessary. It's probably not a good idea, because the red light is very specific to the morning and the late afternoon. During the middle part of the day, you really just need bright white light. So I would definitely, what I would do is I would get red light therapy in the morning every day at the same time before you go to work. And then while you're at work, I would be wearing these yellow glasses all day, while on the screens and in the office. And then when you get home, I would do another red light therapy session about, 2 or 3 hours before you go to bed. Because what that's doing is that the red light therapy in the morning is your sunrise. So your body registers that sunrise, or that red light therapy session first thing in the morning. And then it starts to count down the hours until bedtime, because of course our bodies have evolved for millions of years to know roughly how long a day-night cycle is, and our circadian rhythm is tied to that day-night cycle. And a very good way we can prime our circadian rhythm is by using red light therapy in the morning and in the late afternoon. So I'll do my red light therapy at the same time every morning before going to work. And then I'll do another session in the late afternoon, 3 or 4 hours before going to sleep. And that'll be your sunrise and your sunset, and everything in between should be bright light. And then after your red light therapy session in the evening, put your blockers on, turn your lights down, and just turn your house into a little sleep cave. And that should help you with your general health and circadian rhythm. Yes, I answered My Pawsome Pet. We will be getting larger pads. Please send me a DM so I can tell you about it. Had the Achilles tendon repair surgery. Does it help with this tendon healing? Absolutely. Again, red light therapy is fantastic for helping tissue recover and tissue regrow and come back stronger and keeping the pain down. For something like the Achilles, Target Light 2 is absolutely perfect. It's one of the easiest ones to use. You obviously can stick it right on your Achilles, do 5 minutes there, and it's really going to help speed up your recovery. The other one, of course, that I've mentioned earlier today is the Pango pad. This is the flexible wrap. It's a little bit tricky to get around the Achilles, or it does work because, of course, your heel kind of sticks out the bottom, but you can wrap that around your ankle, and that would be also fantastic for that Achilles repair. You mentioned the time is anywhere between 3 and 10 minutes. Is that for all issues? Example, eyes and pain. It is generally for all issues, but as I said, stick to the 5 minutes because that's like the all-round time. That's going to be good for your eyes and good for your pain. But again, the most important is the distance. It's not so much the time, it's the distance. So when you're doing eyes, 65 centimeters away. When you're doing pain, much, much closer, even touching the skin. Yes, it can help nerve pain, absolutely. How long before you start seeing results for pain and skin improvements on the face? Pain is usually very, very quick. Within, the first session, because the pain relief is, it's a chemical reaction inside the body immediately by the red light therapy. So pain is, for most people, usually very fast. Skin improvements, it takes a little bit of time, Again, with skin, it depends on your general health. It depends on your nutrition. It depends on, hydration, genetics even. So there's quite a lot of variables when it comes to skin, but I have seen people commenting, after a week, their skin looks, softer and firmer, and which I know that sounds a bit different, but for other people, it can take 3 weeks, a couple of months, or they don't even notice because they look at their skin every day, but then they look at photos and they see, oh my gosh, my skin really has changed in the last few weeks. Yes, children can use red light, absolutely. The mat could be out this year, absolutely. Sue is asking, is there any evidence for using red light for neuropathy in feet? Absolutely. It's fantastic for nerve problems in the feet. Again, right now, the easiest one for you, Sue, would probably be the Pango pad. Because what you can do is you can wrap this around, whether you choose to wrap it around each foot at a time, or you can actually wrap it around both feet and kind of cover them up like that, and then just use the strap to go all the way around. The other alternative, Sue, is actually to get the half stack panel, which you can then lie flat on the floor. You sit in the chair, the panel is flat on the floor, facing up, of course, and you just rest your feet on top of it. That's a wonderful way to treat your feet. I have seen data on rheumatoid arthritis and scientific studies. There's certainly more than one study. It seems like Sue's referring to a PubMed paper. I've definitely seen some. I'm sure you could find them on PubMed. I've read so many studies. I've got them saved all over the place, but it's definitely helpful for rheumatoid arthritis for the pain aspect anyway. For thyroid pain, is that Julia? Thyroid, sorry, not thyroid pain, but thyroid, you can be really close to the throat. I would say about 5 centimeters away is fine. You need to lift your chin slightly. 5 centimeters, red and near infrared light. Perfect. For vitiligo on the face, red and infrared light, again, just make sure you keep your distance around 40 centimeters and monitor the vitiligo. Unfortunately, I've had mixed reviews around that. Some people have a great result, some people have no result at all. So just monitor your vitiligo, see what happens. Okay, so Linda's saying it takes a lot more than a few seconds for my eyes to go back to normal. That is what worries me. That's totally fine. You might be starting from a slightly weaker place in terms of your eye health, Linda, without knowing what's going on. So you got a couple of options there. Just do less treatments if it's worrying you, or do a greater distance from the device. So if you're doing 65 centimeters, do 70, do 80. You can put on the other side of the room if you want, and just slowly, get used to the light. And your eyes should strengthen up over time. It can be quite quick for a lot of people. Again, unfortunately, it depends on what else is going on in your life, pre-existing conditions, how much you protect your eyes generally outside of using red light therapy. Unfortunately, in this modern day, this artificial light is not good for our eyes. The computer screens are not good. The phones are not good. That's why I wear these to protect my eyes, and I do red light therapy to kind of support them even more. There is no danger associated with red light therapy and eyes, provided you use a device in the way that I have explained it tonight and the way I explain it every week. Distance is very important, okay? Think about it this way. In normal life, you wouldn't purposefully stare into a bright light if it was so bright that it made you go like that, okay? For example, the car headlights, a flashlight, a torch, any bright light that is just too bright that it makes you recoil, you wouldn't look into it. The sun, you wouldn't look into it. Red light therapy is the same thing. So if you hold the light 65 centimeters away, you don't need to look directly into it. You look around the light. So the light still goes into your eyes, but looking directly for most people is too uncomfortable. So if that's you, don't do it. And that's how you protect your eyes from any sorts of damage associated with bright light exposure. I hope that makes sense, Linda. Julia says she's also interested in larger pads. How large, Julia? Send me an email. I think you've got my email. Let me know what you think, how large is large. Is it okay to use red light on bruised skin? Absolutely. You can use both red and infrared light. I always recommend using both red and infrared light. It's just the distance that you need to manage for the different benefits. The only time you need to use infrared light alone is if the light gets too hot, okay? For example, if I'm doing wrist, elbow, thyroid, I'm doing my eyes, I'm doing a few different things, the light can get quite hot, and then it can be quite uncomfortable to hold it on the skin. And that's when I will turn the red light off and just use the infrared light, because that is a lot cooler than the red light, and it means I can carry on my treatments without being uncomfortably hot. Guys, you've been absolutely fantastic tonight. I hope I got to everyone's question. I hope you enjoyed it. Join us again next week. We'll do another Q&A where I'll get to a bunch more questions. But for tonight, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Send me an email or send us a message on the Instagram. You've been absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Good evening.